Hello and welcome back to Theo's Coffee Break podcast for the next episode in this season. If you heard a cough in the background, that was just our friend Matt, just hanging out in the back to make sure that we're good to go, considering all of the great interruptions we've been having with all of these recordings. Alright, so we're just going to jump right on into it. Today's episode is about letting go of external validation and determining self-worth. The title of this episode will be something along those lines, but that's what I have here because, well, that's really what we're going to be talking about. So, starting off with, recognize, how can we do this? All right. I was sitting with this and I was trying to think about how to have this in casual conversation. I gotta be honest, it was something that I used to really struggle with, but I can't relate anymore. I just can't relate anymore. And I think it's because I reached a point in my life where it's I really don't care anymore. Considering everything that's been going on and everything that's happening, it's well, you really don't have the privilege to be insecure. Especially when you reach a point in your life where you have nothing left to lose. What else are you going to take from me? The car that I live in? You know what I mean? But thinking back on the past, there was a lot there. And this is actually very normal. And I want to start off by saying that having insecurities is actually healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a part of growing up. It's a part of learning more about yourself, and this is how relationships start and are cultivated and built on. Think about if you're in the dating pool, or if you're interested in finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend or getting married. Do you honestly think that after your first date, that if you're gonna, you both really like each other, and you're oh my God, we should get married right now, how do you think that's going to go? Okay, well, more often than not, other than the rare exceptions, very, very, very rare, do not fall into the delusional rabbit hole thinking that this is going to happen for you. I would say 99.9%, if you did that, that marriage would not work out. So first thing I have written here is recognize your insecurities and name them. Yeah, that can be a tough one. And it's hard because insecurities are painful. Okay? And like I said, everybody has them. Okay? So don't feel bad about yourself. But I'm going to name a few here. Body image issues. Who doesn't have body image issues? I'll tell you one of mine. I don't like my nose. I know it seems really silly, but I can notice that it's not a perfect nose. And that's because when I was a kid, I accidentally ran into a window full force, and it's just been kind of off kilter since then. So now I know that the next time I probably see you, you're going to take a good hard look at my nose and see if there's something wrong with it. Chances are you'll find it. But body image issues, that is a tough one. Also for me, growing up and even right now, I'm a pretty skinny guy. So trying to find clothes that fit it's not as easy to find as you may think. Everyone thinks that oh, you're in great shape and all these things. But by American standards, it's not easy finding clothes that fit. And then there's people on the other side of the spectrum. Dressing rooms are hard. It's hard to get something that you're really, or even if you buy clothes online, you're really excited about it, and then you put it on and it doesn't quite fit right. It just makes you feel insecure. But we have to remember that it's just clothes. Okay? You're still perfect. You're still beautiful. It just turns out that wasn't the right fit. But how are we going to know how to work through these things if we're not recognizing our own insecurities and acknowledging them and naming them? Maybe some other ones could be some people are insecure about their singing voice. recording their voice in general, or like, I don't know, I had it back when I was playing a voicemail back to somebody because we were trying to remember what they left there, and they're like, oh my god, is that what I sound like? And I was like, well, yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, oh my god, I sound disgusting. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know, you sound like you. So another part of it is the insecurity is yours. Chances are other people don't care. And it's not because they don't care about you, it's just not as much of a big deal to them as it is to you. So like my nose thing, I bet many of you up until right now didn't even realize I was insecure about my nose. I am. And now you guys are like, well, why? Exactly. That's what insecurities are like. Why? So when we talk about those things, oftentimes we're met with kind of like this dismissive tone. And it's not because they hate you. It's because it's a part of your authenticity and who and what makes you you. That insecurity of yours is something that's already accepted by all the people that are around you, your peers, family, friends, colleagues, people who care about you or don't care about you. They honestly don't think it's a big deal because it's just a part of who you are. So that's another thing about insecurities. Oftentimes it's I would say a red flag or a trigger in a relationship with yourself. And that there's actually an opportunity to learn more about who you are through you. Okay? So this is where we got to let go of that external validation, because that is where it's rooted from, your insecurities. That's right. You looking for attention, you looking for acceptance, and all of those things, it often comes from your insecurities. So it's just one of those moments where you need to acknowledge them and name them so you can stop acting like a total fool. Okay? So next thing I have here is like, start by acknowledging what fuels your fear-based urgency. What makes you act irrational and or impulsive? What causes you anxiety? Let's talk about relationships for a moment. Have you ever dated somebody? Well, if you haven't, thank your lucky stars. But have you ever dated somebody that was just like a total nut job? And you didn't realize it right away, but then as you get more into the relationship, you're like, this person is psychotic. Okay, now it is so easy to shit talk that person. Everybody does it, and everybody laughs about it because chances are you have the same war stories that I do. And if they're not the same, they're pretty damn similar, and we could go on for a while about that. But what we should be meeting that with is that they're acting that way because they never felt secure in a relationship with themselves. Okay? And so they're looking for all this external validation in the relationship from you by control. And that control can often be very toxic. Okay? Sorry. Whoop! I'm holding the mic and sitting on the floor. But it can often be very toxic and manipulative, and they may do things that are just deceiving and irrational and crazy, but it can literally be written off as them being insecure because they're afraid that if you don't like them at their absolute worst when they're acting like a dog, that maybe you're just going to walk away at some point and find someone better. And so it's like this weird counterintuitive test that if you can accept me for the monster that I'm acting like right now, because they believe they're not a monster, but they just want to see can you be with one, then maybe you'll stick around if they ever end up acting like that. Funny story, you already are. Stop. You know? And so that's one of them. By naming these things and... Sorry, excuse me. My tummy's talking now. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm not going to be insecure about that. Now you know my tummy grumbles just like yours. But anyways, yeah, these are important things to know because it's an opportunity for you to learn more about yourself. Confirmation burp. All right, so next one we have is reclaim your power and sense of self-control with this phrase. Your lack of planning and being unprepared is not my sense of urgency. I've talked about this in the past regarding work meetings or business meetings or any kind of meeting of a kind that requires you to show up in a more professional manner. However, this can actually apply to your everyday life. Think about it. Did you ever set your alarm for the weekend and then you were late for work the next day? Or maybe you thought that you had all the ingredients you needed to make dinner and it wasn't all there. Well, this isn't a time to beat up on yourself. This is just a moment to recognize that, hey, well, next time I should try to take a look and just double check to make sure that the time is set right on my alarm. Or maybe I do have all the ingredients in the refrigerator. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very human. I was literally in the grocery store and I had my list of groceries all ready to go. And what I forgot to bring was a pen because I'm not a fan of technology. I'm just not. And so here I am wandering back and forth through the store because I couldn't remember what I already had in my grocery cart or what I already had off of my list. And being that I don't really shop much or enjoy it, and I don't know the layout of the store, I couldn't really plan how to make it easier. So in those moments, I want to also say, you just got to show up and do your best. And guess what? I still got everything off of my list. It just took me some extra time, and I had to be very patient with myself. Because that's a part of life. Things don't always go the way that you want them to. Anybody who's ever been married knows that no matter how many months, how much time, or how many people are involved, or how many, helping hands you have, on the day of your wedding, chances are things aren't going to go exactly as planned. Because that's just the way that it is. Why is it like that? I don't know. You tell me. Ask God. Maybe they'll have an answer. But it doesn't mean that you have to be insecure about it. It doesn't mean that you have to be hard on yourself about it. It just means that you need to surrender, let go of control, and just try to find the joy in the moment. So what I found actually in the joy of grocery shopping and walking the same path about 1 million damn times was that, I'm actually learning where things are. So next time I'm here, I'm not going to look like I'm lost. And I got my steps in. So there we go. So let's see here. The next one is find ways to self-soothe yourself and relax your mind without numbing out. Be present and embrace the growing pains. So that little moment there in the grocery store for something as simple as I already have a list, I thought I was prepared, I thought I was planned, was just being patient with myself and taking everything in stride. Excuse me. Confirmation burp. So, taking everything in stride and also just kind of like, you know what? It could be worse. So that's one of the ways. Self-soothe yourself. Relax your mind and just be present and embrace the moment. On the other hand of your lack of planning and being unprepared is not my sense of urgency, is also not letting your anxiety get the best of you. Now, there are going to be moments in your life that you are going to have that meeting that is going to stress you the hell out, whether it's with court, whether it's with law enforcement, whether it's going to the bank, anything that's like really stressful and you just don't want to do it because, well, that's the nature of the meeting. Well, guess what? You're going to have to show up anyways. So why not show up prepared? Why not show up with a plan? And just be open to having a conversation that is going to be super transparent and put you on the spot. I think of it like this. Either be an adult about it or lose everything. Don't let your insecurities get the best of you. Understand that there are going to be challenges in life that we don't ask for. But if they ever happen, you are more capable than you think, and you can do it. Because you can. and you have to. Okay. Anyways, so that's why I say challenge yourself by challenging others without being competitive and or in rivalry. We grow together with each other's differences, not by being the same or going with the crowd. I talked about this in the last episode, to which I might break that down in another one. And that episode was just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should. Okay, so this is one that I don't think people realize, but people who are very competitive or are in rivalry with each other is also another sign of insecurity. And that insecurity is rooted in envy and jealousy. Because when you take a look at the other person on the other side of you, you think that they have it all. And oh my gosh, life just must be a breeze for them. If only I had hair like them. If only my clothes fit like theirs did. Or if only everybody liked me as much as everybody likes them or whatever. Crap like that. That's really sad to me because I think that there's a different way we can challenge each other. And I would hope that you would choose to be kind. Maybe you could ask them, hey, I want to let you know I really like your hair. How do you do your hair? Like make a friend. Not make a friend to be fake. But make a friend because what you should recognize is, oh, this is my insecurity talking. Actually, I think that there could be a better, brighter future, a more peaceful one, if maybe I see if they want to be friends with me. And I can almost bet that person would love to be friends with you. They would love to have you in their life. And they would really appreciate that compliment. You really like their hair, or you really like the way they dress. And who knows where that could go? Don't loathe each other. See what similarities you already have. And then you can learn from each other because you're different. And that's cool. Okay? So perfection is impossible. Authenticity is humane. I like to say this. Nobody's perfect. We've all heard it. The Hannah Montana song, the whole 9 yards. But what I'm saying is perfection is actually an illusion. Everybody's idea of perfection is different. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all, okay? Like my friend Matt, his idea of perfection would be different than mine. My friend Lisa, her idea of perfection would be different than mine. So I also think that perfection is a limiting mindset because once you hit that level of quote-unquote perfect, how are you going to surpass that? You can't. But with authenticity, there is always more room to grow. There is always more to learn. You can actually deepen your understanding. You can actually get a better, more experiences out of life. Because I think understanding comes from real life experiences. So with that understanding there, that's where the value of authenticity is. You can become better in your career. You can become better in your relationship. You can become better as friends. Not because you're seeking perfection, but because you're seeking something real. And real always trumps fake. So what we also have here is when we judge others, we are not helping each other. Okay? We should not be judging each other. When we do that, that's another thing that is just blocking any kind of opportunities, blocking any new connections, and you never know what you could be missing out on by judging a book by its cover. Okay? All right, so we also have here is discover, cultivate, and learn to understand your emotional truth. Feelings can be deceiving. If you don't know where to begin, start by journaling or gaining new experiences. Now, I don't have a complete... I'm going to be honest, I don't like feelings. I don't go based on feelings. Only because they can get you in a lot of trouble. However, every once in a while, maybe it's worth exploring, but with caution, okay? Don't throw caution to the wind. Don't do what I did. Emotions, though, come from a real understanding, okay? It comes from truth. And so with knowing that, it is going to be where you learn a lot about your sense of discernment. Everybody's discernment is different because it's authentic and it's based on your relationship with yourself by naming and acknowledging your insecurities and letting go of that external validation. Okay, when we do that, this is how we learn to trust our own decisions, trust our own mind, so that we can start trusting the things that come out of our mouth. Sometimes we say things that we don't mean. If that ever happens, I hope you choose to apologize. That's if you have the opportunity to do that. But if you don't, now you know better and you can move on. Okay, and then, journaling helps a lot. And I'm going to say pen and paper. There's something about it. It's different than a computer. There's a science behind it. Look it up, Google it, ChatGPT, whatever crap you want to do. There's something about a pen and paper because it forces you to slow down and actually think about what you're putting on the paper. With a keyboard, you're just clacking away. Clickety clack, click, click. And then it's like, oh my gosh, are you even thinking about what you're writing down? Chances are you're not. Pen and paper, because you want to learn how to be patient with yourself. Okay, don't outpace yourself. Don't outrun your mind. You don't need to get ahead of yourself. You need to be able to walk side by side with your mind and your heart. Okay? So that's why it's very important to me, pen and paper and journaling. It's a way you can have a relationship with yourself. So we also have let go of what you cannot control and what you should be within your bandwidth. It's okay to ask for help or seek out resources and professionals that can help you find stability again. And know that you are enough. Don't get in your way. You got this. This is really hard to do, okay? Especially if you're an insecure person. Because what you want is control. You're right. You want to be in control. But I got to let you know something. You already are. I know. Did I just blow your mind? You're already in control. That's right. Every choice, action, and decision that you make determines what's going to happen then, in the here and now, and also, in some ways, you possibly can heal your past by letting it go. So, know this. You have been in control this whole time. You have already owned every decision that you made. But there will be times in your life when you have to be held accountable because nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. And unfortunately, to make things fair, consequences must be delivered. But the difference between a consequence and a punishment, consequence comes with understanding. There's no confusion surrounding it. But with punishment, there's fear. So that's why you got to let go of that external validation. Because whatever's coming your way, just know that it's well deserved. And if you have good things coming your way, well, congratulations. You get a gold star. Okay? So, like I said at the end, you are enough. Don't get in your way, and you got this. And I am rooting for you all the way to the very end. So with that, thank you for joining me for today's coffee break. We had no interruptions. What a victory. Isn't that nice? That I can actually speak and say everything that I wanted to say without being interrupted. We're going to write it off as a cable issue. Matt helped me find a new cable, and it seems to be working out pretty well. Let's hope that's all that it was and is. So if you want to help me out here and make any donations to the coffee table, go to buymeacoffee.com, look up Theo's Coffee Break Podcast, and for free, it really helps if you rate this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I love 5-star ratings, but if you want to give me a fair one, I'll take it. All right, until next time, remember, be kind And, what was my little phrase again? I forgot. Be kind, take care of yourself, and no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, what you think of me, you will always be welcome here at my coffee table. See you in the next episode. Bye.